Okay, I'm Al Sayan with the Middletown Lions Club, and I'm here with David and Michael, and Doug. Doug, you got to get in the field of view here someplace. Have a seat, Doug. No? Okay. Well, the Middletown AT&T group from the Pioneers. You guys are from the AT&T in Middletown, right?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
AT&T Telecom Pioneers. Chapter 139, Jersey Shore Club. If you can remember all that.
Well, it's on video, so it should be pretty easy for me. I guess what you know, I heard you guys talking earlier about it being real cold when you got this project actually started.
Yes, we started in November, and nice brisk 20-degree days, I recall.
Rainy.
No, it was warm the first day. And then we got our holes dug for the platforms. And then it wasn't raining too bad when we dug the holes, but then a monsoon came, filled in all the holes with muck, mire.
Daddy, I'm gonna go get a ginger ale inside.
Okay. And we spent the next morning digging it all out, but we had already gotten our concrete in, and it had hardened underwater.
Wow.
And we dug it all out, and we put the posts in. You can see the posts are the 4x4s in a couple places. We got them, actually, these posts, they were sitting in muck and mire, sitting on our concrete. And then we bolted them in. Others you can't see because the ramp is at a very low level. But then when the carpentry started, it dropped to about 20 degrees with a nice brisk wind coming off the bay. So the first weekend, basically, we got the posts in and a little bit of the carpentry done. The following week, we got most of the ramp done from the patio, I call it, where all the bricks are, down in the front, up, and at least part of this upper ramp. The upper ramp was the hardest part of this job because we had to feather in our ramp onto the existing cement ramp. This existing ramp used to go down to the sidewalk that ran across that building, and as you look at it, the existing ramp is a pretty steep ramp. So some of the folks, like the Hineses right behind you, when they came here, had a much steeper ramp that they had to go down. There was some handrails, and they were very unstable. So we took out those handrails. We have put in a ramp that now goes 1 foot per inch. No, that's not it. Yeah, it's a foot drop per a foot length per inch drop, much gentler, with turning platforms at 2 corners. So you can go down, you can stop, you can rest, you can turn, go down another section of ramp, stop, turn, and come out. We came back in January and finished the installation of these handrails. Another little project that I thought would take 2 hours, and it took about 8. And then we got it done in the current state.
Daddy, hold this for a second.
Okay, honey, thank you. My daughter feeds me. And we still need to paint some of these uprights, these supports right here that support this handrail. We didn't have enough time to paint this. The handrails themselves, this was a custom job. I had a fellow fabricator who came in and helped us with this, where we attached it to the existing block here, We also had to, when we put these bolts in, they were a little loose, so we also had to put some cement in there to hold them. So again, something that was pretty unusual. This plate here, some of us thought it was going to be very difficult to do this, but I have a passion for blacksmithing, metalworking, and we just happen to have a wonderful steel fabricator, a steel supply house in Farmingdale called Fazio's, and I was able to order this and bring it in. And of course, what I ordered was too big. So we had to spend an hour or so cutting in and putting in this plate. This is pretty important because we ran out of space to attach our flooring, and we had to use this as a transition. We've done it in the past, but not too often. So this ramp has a lot of interesting challenges. One of the challenges is sloping in on an existing ramp, putting these plates in, attaching these rails, which we had never done before because this is a public accommodation, and normally we do private homes and we're not required to put these in.
So to meet code, you had to change the slope, and then on an existing deck level, which goes up here, it looks like 5 steps. You really couldn't change the elevation. You had to work within the elevation that you had and the height
Well,
and
in
the
some
color
sense, we
characteristics.
did change the elevation by making this a more gradual ramp coming down.
Okay.
And that's how it's a little bit easier. It was pretty easy down here, but this upper section is where it got really interesting. It took hours to, these stringers that we put on here that the plates rest on, it took hours to get that cut just right so they would sit on here nice and even and not have a big hump going up and down. In fact, we did it once, it failed, and then we had to go rip it out, recut it, put it back down again. We had about 6 guys that did nothing but put this section of ramp in. And finally they got the supports in, and then we came in with this decking real fast and got it all done. In the dark.
It definitely looks beautiful. In the dark. Yeah, it looks
in the
beautiful.
dark. I remember the second night I was here, we were working in the dark. These 2 lamps around here were the only thing we could see.
Wow. How many man hours went into this in total?
Over 200.
Wow. It is, and you guys actually brought all the supplies over too, and
the Pioneers had a very generous donation by one of the gentlemen who had done ramps before. He donated $10,000 in stock, and we went through about half of that to buy the materials and to put this in. But that was exactly what his purpose was, is to be able to support building ramps. In this case, it was for public accommodation who could not afford to have the ramp purchased or the materials purchased on their own. Normally when we do ramps, we work in collaboration with Monmouth County. They supply the materials, vet the clients, and then we supply the labor. The county does not support organizations like this to that extent. Their program is to help individuals that could not afford to do the repair work on their homes.
I understand. So this is quite something unique for the Pioneers, but something that you were willing to take on.
Yep.
A bit more challenging, but look at the wonderful results.
Mm-hmm.
What a very kind gift to New Jersey blind citizens.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was our pleasure to do this. It was a lot of fun. Even though it was cold, it was a lot of fun. And it's really rewarding today when we saw many of the clients come up, around, be able to get into the building. This really is the heart of pioneering, being a desire to give back to the community and try and make people's lives a little bit better.
Well, yes, I think you certainly have done that. If someone wants to learn more about the AT&T Pioneers, do you have a website where they should go and take a look?
Yes. Michael, are we www.telecompioneers?
AT&T Pioneer Volunteers.
Okay, www.
Oh, where's my jacket?
AT&T
You have my jacket?
Pioneer Volunteers.
Have the jacket?
.org.
Okay.
We just changed it. That's why I'm asking Michael Hickey, who's our chapter vice president, what our new website is.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.